What is up? My name is Douglas Nyback. This is DNA, which stands for Douglas Nyback Acting, which makes sense because this is the place you go on YouTube to get practical and effective film and TV training lessons from a coach, me, Douglas Nyback, who coaches 20 to 30 clients per week. It is what I do for a living on top of being an actor, a writer, and a producer. So if you are looking to get better as an on-camera performer, you found the right place. Today I'm talking to every actor out there who is doing their tapes, crushing it, training, working your butt off. You watch your stuff back and you're checking all the right boxes. You're doing everything right, but you feel like something is missing. This is what I have come to call the intermediate plateau. And it just so happens to be essentially the specialty that I have as an acting coach. The vast majority of the actors that I work with one-on-one tend to find me when they're at this place. They've gone through a bunch of training. They know that there is a world available to them that they are capable of reaching, and they are in this line in the middle. The reason why this happens, and it happens in a lot of different fields. The one that I tend to draw a parallel to is like athletics, weightlifting. Essentially, if you take somebody who's never been to the gym before and you take them to the gym and get them to start lifting heavy stuff, they're going to experience a meteoric rise because they go from having no strength to having strength. And they're like, wow, that's wild. And you know, because you're at the gym and you see these people deadlifting 400, 500, 600 pounds, like, you know, your workout is their warm up. Like, you know that you can get there, that there is something that you can aspire to, where the changes that need to happen in order to break into the next stratosphere are minutia. It's rest, recovery, nutrition, supplementation, different training styles, working with a trainer, all of these different things that will eventually get you to a place where you are on a whole new level. When you're coming up as an actor, you're taught a whole lot of things that you need to learn that eventually become so dumbed down they're technically wrong. But the problem is, they give you such growth that by the time you reach this intermediate place, and you can be a series regular on this intermediate line, like you are a bookable actor. Depending on the right cocktail of luck, like you can be like meteorically successful at this level and still not even be close to what you're capable of doing. So when you're taught at a beginner level, whether it's theater school or film and TV training, like in specialized studios, you're taught a bunch of really basic concepts. Things like verbing. You take a line and you're like, well, what am I doing with this line? To attack, to cut, to embrace, to relish. All of these things are useful because when you're a beginner level actor, the concept of doing with a line, the concept of going after something with purpose with every line is a completely foreign concept. I was literally given worksheets to do this in theater school. Every single line of a song, every single line of a play. What am I doing? What's my tactic? What's my verb? What's my verb? What's my verb? And we would be graded on it. On like, is it the right word to choose? All this stuff. And so useful in teaching me to think tactically. And I needed that because that was something that I had never heard of before, something that was completely foreign to me. The problem with it is that it turned me into a micromanaging machine where once I had become an intermediate level actor, I was still holding on to this concept of micromanaging every single thing that I did with every single sentence, and then I would do my takes, and it wouldn't be me standing in front of another human being and having an experience with them where I'm going after what I want and they're going after what they want, and the conflict that comes as a result of how we both have to adapt to each other. It became me alone with some inconsequential sack of meat where I was going through my whole internal process of this is what I'm doing with this line, this is what I'm doing with this line, this is what I'm doing with this line. And it was completely unresponsive to the person that was off camera. And it was just me going through the motions that I had prepared and holding really tightly to them. And what happened was I did all of the things that I had prepared, but there was something missing. That human interaction, the reactivity, the willingness to let go of what I think is supposed to happen, to roll with the infinite complexity of what can happen in front of me. And that is, at its base state, the evolution of a beginner level concept, verbing your lines, into an advanced level concept. I understand that each and every single thing that I do is a tactic to get what I need in the scene, and I have to be fluid and responsive and willing to change alongside the people that I'm working with and the context that I'm working with and the blocking and everything. It's going to change what I think is supposed to happen. Good acting is not bringing what I think is supposed to happen into imaginary circumstances. It's existing wholeheartedly within those imaginary circumstances, going after what I need and being completely willing to say, I can't predict how we're going to get there, how we're going to get there together. An introductory level concept that I needed to learn that I dragged with me into advanced level expectations on set, in classes, etc. And what happened was I was applying beginner level tools to advanced problems. And what that creates is a plateau. Of course it does. And it is shocking the number of actors that I work with that come to me with this problem, that are dragging problems that they used to have, hyperfixation on the line, because somewhere an acting teacher told them you have to be dead letter perfect, and if you're not, grandma will die. Somewhere along the line, when you're learning beginner level concepts, a teacher has had to tell you this is the way to do it, and they're bound by the institution that creates a metric of grading. So there is a right and a wrong way to do it so that they can grade you. And that creates complexes in all of us. Of course it does. So you have an advanced level actor dragging with them the anchors of being a beginner, and eventually you can't rise any higher until you let those things go. And this is where, as a coach, I love this stuff, because every individual's journey out of this plateau line is different. There are obviously going to be similarities. This requires an examination of insecurity, an examination of what fears I am carrying with me that are no longer relevant as an actor. And then it requires a willingness to let those things go. And that is the part of this that requires the greatest amount of courage, because it's scary. For me, I'll speak to my own. It was being dead letter perfect, having all the right answers for what are my actions, what are my verbs, being small within the frame, like micromanaging all of my choices so I could control everything. These things were profoundly useful for me when I started out. I figured out all the rules. I figured out all the text analysis rules. I had it all. I knew all the rules. And so I built performances that, if they went a very specific and perfect way, they were excellent. But if anything changed, the whole thing collapsed, because they were a house of cards. That was my intermediate plateau. I was so indoctrinated in getting it right, because that's how I survived being a beginner level actor, that I became a profoundly unfluid actor. I couldn't evolve with the scene, couldn't bring elasticity. I couldn't live in the unpredictability, which is, at its very nature, what being an advanced level performer is. And every actor's journey through this is different. Yours is going to be different than mine. This is one of those situations where it's way easier to work through these things with a coach than it is on your own. I don't think that coaching is what every actor needs at all times. I don't think that classes are what every actor needs at all times. But I do think that as you're digging into that plateau line, you have to accept that your journey through it is going to be highly individualized. A class can't really hyper-fixate on you as an individual, because there's like 10 to, 30 other people in it, depending on the class size. There's only going to be so much screen time that you can be given, so much individual focus that you can be given. This is where one-on-one developmental training is invaluable. The more individualized your journey becomes, the more one-on-one work should benefit you. All right, I'm interjecting on my own video here to let you know that I am teaching an in-person audition workshop called the Foundations Workshop, February 28th and March 1st. Now, the in-person portion of this is already sold out, but this is the exciting part. I'm offering an unlimited online audit access. So what does that mean? It means for $30, you can take part in the class via live stream. It's going to be like you are in the room, except you can do this from anywhere in the world. If you can't be there for the live stream, the entire course will be downloadable once it's done, so you can peruse it at your own leisure. $30, unlimited access to elite training from anywhere in the world. This is the reason why I created DNA. I'm incredibly excited to get this kind of training out to you. So sign up at the link down below, and I'm excited to see you in the class. If I were to say, what is the difference between an intermediate level actor and an advanced level actor? At its core, an intermediate level actor is a great craftsperson. They have a comprehensive understanding of all of the craft that is required to do the job, but they're held back by previous versions of themselves, by insecurity, fear that if they let go of what they used to need, they're gonna suddenly become bad. Whereas an advanced level actor has no friction between themselves and the story they're telling. And they are malleable, and they understand that the unpredictability of performance is the single most important thing. It's where all of the honesty and truth lives. There's a lot of like intangibles when it comes to acting. Like, it's gotta be honest, it's gotta be truthful. What does that really mean at its base? It means a group of people in a scene collaborating with a group of people off camera, being willing to say, we don't really know how this is gonna go. We know the story, it's written, but we don't know how we're gonna get there. Why don't we film it as we discover it together? Let's go. And what that requires is the single most valuable asset that you have as an actor, which is yourself. Only you can go through the scene the way that you go through the scene. Nobody else can do that. Take the 5 actors that you admire most on the planet and give them the same role, completely different performances. What an unbelievable truth. None of them would have been better or worse. But the thing is, I open to myself and to others. And you can't do that if you are dragging previous versions of yourself and old needs and old lessons with you. At a certain point, you have to be willing to say, okay, I got that. And if I f it up, gentle reminder, and let's go. Make a correction. Not, oh, you got to go back into like, what are you doing? Like, they were right in theater school, you can't, right? That's punishment. It's insecurity. It's holding myself back from being open here and trusting that the technical things that I know will play. Of course they will. And if they don't, just easily fix them. But you can't move forward in the ocean if you constantly have your anchor down. And this is perhaps the most uncomfortable truth, right? What lives on the other side of the plateau is freedom. It's you. It's the version of you as a performer that you want to be. But the journey through your plateau, that requires individual examination, looking within, doing an audit of what am I carrying with me that I no longer need to carry? How am I being buried in my own insecurities and fears? Where am I not acting with courage, and why? Why am I holding myself back? Every actor's journey through that is going to be different. This is not a sales pitch, but if you need help, if you feel like you're here and you're like, all right, I need help, reach out. Follow us on Instagram @DNIBackAct and DM me, because that's what I'm here for. This is what I do for a living. I help actors through this. So I wish I could give you a squared plus b squared equals c squared formula here, but I hope that this conversation has been an exploration that can shine some light on maybe some dark rooms that are living within yourself, that are rooms where you're feeling a lot of frustration. The more you get into this plateau and the more you work your way through it and you get into this self-work, the closer and closer you get to the edge of the plateau. You might not know that you're there, but then this thing happens where it's like, it all just clicks. And you're like, and you do a take, and all of a sudden you're just free. You're just free. You're just on the other side of this thing. And the other side of it is a meadow. And there is so much to explore and learn, but you're out of the dark corridor. And your scenes start to look and feel the way that you know they can be right now. So it's there. It's worth it, I promise you, to dial in on that line, to look within, to make the changes internally that you need to make. It's so worth it. I hope that you found this helpful. I would love to hear from you if you are struggling with this right now. If you got questions, anything, like put it all in the comments. If you like this, please like and subscribe. It goes a really, really long way in helping us grow the channel. I want to be a lighthouse here for actors to point their ship at. The world is expensive. Acting training is expensive. I am expensive. I do want this YouTube channel to be a place where you can go and just like get better without paying money for it. Follow us across our socials. I hope that this helped you grow and, you know, go be people.